So a few months back, I was sitting on the trainer there one morning and watching a bit of YouTube. I stumbled across Chris Miller's Dirty Warning video, and that video just put the bloody idea in my head that I really wanted to do that race. And at this time, like, I didn't have any interest in gravel. I'd never ridden it. I didn't have a bike. Financially, I really didn't want to buy another bike, but it just seemed like such a sick race, and I just couldn't stop thinking about it. Couldn't let the idea go, and eventually I succumbed. Had a bit of a garage sale to help fund the bike. I built that up and entered the race, and now here I am, 4 weeks out. So on top of that, I also entered Gravelista, so got a little bit carried away with this whole gravel thing, but I'm currently 10 days out from that race, and yeah, pretty keen for it. Gravelista is the qualifier for the UCI Gravel Worlds for next year, but for myself, I'm thinking of it more as training and, you know, part of my build up for the Dirty Warning, and just go and give it all a go, get a bit of experience racing on the gravel and see what it's all about. So I'm excited for it, to be honest. I'm excited to go and just try something different. Alright, I'm just going to whack some voiceover in here, guys. The audio out of the action camera was not great. But this is my Saturday long ride. I'd been looking forward to this all week. Perfect weather, super fun route. First 80k or so, super flat and fast. I had 2 45-minute tempo efforts to do, and just a hell of a lot of fun, giving it a bit of a rip along there. And then from there, the route, it's sort of, you know, there's no sustained climbing, but lots of steep little pinches, 5-10 minute climbs that you got to grind up and over. So super fun, and that's what I've really enjoyed about riding gravel, is just plotting new routes, getting out there, having a look around. You know, lived in this area my whole life, and I'm getting out to places that I've never seen before, so it's pretty cool. So this ride, I just felt incredible. My energy was really good. I was feeling super strong. I was really enjoying myself. And then 4 hours in, it unraveled a bit. I got this ache in my left glute, which I've not experienced before. Occasionally on the bike, you know, I might get a little ache or pain somewhere that just sort of goes away on its own. This wasn't going away, and it was starting to concern me a bit. It was affecting my ability to put power down on my left side. And, you know, I shifted my position, I stopped, got off the bike for 5 minutes, nothing was helping. And I didn't have much choice but to ride it out to get myself home. And, you know, your mind starts racing in these situations, you know, the timing of it, like I'm leading into the week of Gravelista. But look, I've been in this position before over the years, and in the moment I just told myself to just accept it. There ain't shit you can do about it. You know, it's happened. Just don't let it ruin the rest of this ride. Get yourself home and then assess it from there. So it's Saturday morning, and on the trainer right now. It's been a week, man. Kind of a shitty week. So Gravelista is tomorrow. I'm leaving today, I think. I'll get to that. But yeah, it all started with that issue with my glute. Took Sunday off the bike, hit with a foam roll, electrical point ball. Turned out to be fine. Responded really well to that, so that was all good. Then I ran into another issue. So the other week I did a road race. Poured rain, I got soaked, and as a result developed a saddle sore, which always seems to happen in those conditions. And in the past, they never really bothered me. I just trained through them. They resolved. This one was no different, except when I had a look at it, I noticed what looked like some swelling on one of my sit bones. Didn't think much of it.
had another look at it a few days later, and it was exactly the same. It hadn't reduced at all, and I was kind of like, what's the go there? Googled it, and of the few things that kind of made sense for it to be, none of them were good. They all involve, you know, usually a difficult resolution and extended time off the bike to let it rest and recover. And that kind of panicked me a bit, because I don't want to be off the bike for a long time. I love riding my bike. It contributes a lot to my physical and mental health. So I was kind of stressed about it. And like all week, I've just been in two minds whether I should ride and prepare normally for this weekend or rest, or whether I should even do the race, you know. Just a lot of indecision. I had a doctor's appointment booked for next Tuesday to get it looked at. In the end, yesterday, I rang the doctors and just, on the off chance I could get in earlier, and by some miracle they had a cancellation, got me in, got it looked at. Doctor basically thinks it's nothing. So I think the way she put it is just kind of like uneven distribution of like fatty tissue. Yeah, could be wrong there, but she's not concerned about it at all, because the thing is, it's not painful at all. It's not causing me any discomfort, and it's only that I'm like aware of it now visually that I can somewhat notice it physically, like barely at all. It's not annoying me, it's not uncomfortable. So anyway, that was that, but that was stressing me out all week. Then the Dirty Warning got cancelled. Dirty Warning, yeah, it got cancelled. So that's pretty shit. Don't know if I'm going to get my entry fee back from that or what, which, anyway, that's that. And then Gravelista posted last night about the weather for tomorrow. It's looking pretty bad, and the race could potentially be shortened or cancelled. And so I'm just sitting here and I just don't know what to do, whether I should even go, because it's 6 hours over there for me, so it's like a 12-hour round trip, you know. Do I want to spend the money on the fuel and potentially waste my weekend, time away from family, everything, you know? So it's like, I don't know what to do, but yeah, I don't need to leave until around lunchtime, so if they haven't posted an update by then, I guess we'll make a decision.
Righto, here we are, Gravelista 2025. This is the 35-39 age group I was in. Definitely some strong guys in here, man, and I got to tell you straight off the bat, I didn't have a good day. I was not feeling like myself on the bike, and yeah, this was just super hard. I think there's different reasons for that. I mentioned earlier in the video, the week leading in was not ideal. I was stressing about everything going on, and as a result, I wasn't able to ride much. And all the rides I did do were really short, so that threw me off my regular just routine and flow. I think I had like 4 hours on the bike for the week prior to this race, so much less than I would normally do. And I definitely prefer to hit a race carrying a bit of fatigue, if anything, rather than being too fresh. And I think that's what happened here. I warmed up in the morning and just felt off. So, you know, that was that. But the biggest thing, I think, was just my complete lack of experience here. And that's gravel specific, but just cycling and racing in general. I only took up cycling back in January this year, so haven't been at it for very long. And like I said, lots of strong guys in here, and across the whole race in general, the competition's really strong, you know, being a UCI qualifier, and a lot of guys you know, been racing bikes for years and are much more experienced than I. So I'm trying to remember that and not be too hard on myself, because honestly, I couldn't help but feel a little bit disappointed with my result here. But racing bikes, man, is hard. It's, you know, you got to make split-second decisions when your heart rate is through the roof, and those decisions can then go on to affect the whole outcome of your race. So it's definitely tough, and we're just rolling out here on this little road section to start it off, and basically right here I was just mindful of trying to move up the group as much as I could, so I was towards the front as we hit the first gravel section. So I didn't do too bad of a job moving up there, but I hit some soft stuff in the corner and lost a heap of momentum. Guys rolled past me and I drift back a bit, but at this point I'm just trying to compose myself a bit, you know what it's like, you know, at the start of a race, and just settle in, work my way into the effort, and also just take it all in. Like I said, first gravel race, and it doesn't really come across in the video here just like how full on this feels. The start was quite fast, so we're ripping along here, you know, as you're getting hit by rocks and dirt and shit's going in your mouth. It's pretty full on, but super fun at the same time. But shortly coming up here is where the mistakes started to happen. So yeah, I kind of burnt myself early, and I'm glad I put the camera on the bike. It's not something I normally do, but it's cool to look back on this footage and try and analyze it a bit and see where I went wrong and what I could have done differently, and just learn from it, because in the moment it's definitely not as obvious as it appears in the video. So I'm going to try and point a few of those moments out to you. Here's a mistake I made multiple times. Whenever there was like, whatever you want to call this, an obstacle in the road, something that caused the group to slow down a bit and then accelerate out of, I just hesitated too much and didn't keep up enough momentum. And you can see how strung out the group gets here coming out of this, and I'm down toward the back. So I am just copping a huge surge here, and a few of these efforts certainly add up over the race for sure. This is where it really all went wrong. So I'm going to let this whole clip here play out, and you can see where I burnt myself. Hitting this bluestone straight over a bottle. They warned us about these sections at the start. Still quite early here, probably like 15k or so in. But yeah, it's just some chunky rock. It was kind of gnarly. And I'm just thinking to myself, just get through here. Don't crash. Praying or don't puncture. But in doing all of that, I'm not paying enough attention, man. And you can see up ahead how strung out it is. There's gaps forming up everywhere. And I'm just not aware of it. I'm not even aware that this dude here in front of me is punctured. I literally go to follow his wheel and then realize, and yep, there is the gap. So at this point, I mean, I didn't see any other option. I've got to go for it here and try and chase back. There's guys behind me, but if I'm going to do halfway decent in the race, I've got to get back to the group. So give her a good rip, and yeah, this was hard. It wasn't a super long effort, but I did go super deep here, and definitely multiple matches being burnt. But yeah, I really did not want to get dropped this early into the race. And I mean, if I had to think back on this race and pinpoint the moment where I went wrong, this is it. This really cost me later on. So going super hard here, I do manage to get back and roll up onto a wheel, and I mean, my heart rate was just rocketing here, so I'm just trying to sit in some draft and try and recover a bit. I'm just hanging on for dear life, basically. And yeah, unbeknownst to me at the time, still mistakes to make and still work to do. So I mean, it's easy to sit here at resting heart rate and say I should have gone around here and tried to move further up into the group, but I was definitely maxed out. And yeah, the group accelerates, pace goes up, more gaps, and, you know, chasing once again. And I was kind of relying on just getting back to the wheel in front of me here and letting him close it up and tow me back, but it didn't work that way. I was aware that the gap had opened up at the time, but it was bigger than I thought. It, you know, quickly stretched out to a substantial gap, and away I go again. So, I mean, yeah, burnt myself pretty hard here. So prior to this, we had like 20 minutes of pretty smooth, easy gravel, and the pace in the bunch relaxed a little bit. I was able to position myself better, and I was feeling somewhat comfortable for a bit. But we hit this little bridge, the road narrows. This was a bit of a hot spot for crashes. I know there's a few last year. There's a guy down on the side of the road right there. And I knew it was coming, but still, man, I just hesitated. I slowed down too much, lost a heap of momentum, and let another gap open up. And we hit this little pinch coming out of it, and I realized at this point that I didn't have much left in the legs here, and except that I just had to ride my own number, and if that was going to get me back onto the group, so be it. Otherwise, I was happy to let it go. I was boxed here, and I was pretty sure I was dropped, but I did manage to get up and over here, roll off the descent, and rejoin the group without too much effort. So we're on the loop section of the course now. You do this loop twice. This is toward the beginning of it, and we're just starting off this climb here, which is basically the crux of the whole route, I'd say. Not super long, but there's a couple of steep pinches that definitely hurt, and definitely a key point in the race. And like I said, I didn't expect to be with the group here, so finding myself there, I thought I may as well just give this everything, and, you know, best case, I'll hang on. Worst case, I'll go down swinging. So that was my thinking here. You know, if I've got an advantage anywhere, it should be on the climbs, just being a lighter weight rider. So I thought there might be some chance I could hang on. But yeah, I gave it my best shot, and it wasn't good enough, man. I couldn't hang with these guys. I did sort of hang in there for a bit, but I just slowly but surely got distanced. And by the time I rolled over the top, there was a few guys still around me, but I just had nothing. I couldn't keep going. I emptied everything I had left out here on this hill, and that was it. Dropped 45k or so into the race, and it felt like I'd been racing for hours at that point, which is never a good sign. So yeah, after that it was just straight up survival mode. I rode solo for, it felt like a bloody long time. And it probably was, to be honest with you. A few other age groups rolled past with decent groups, and I jumped onto a few of those for sort of 20 minutes at a time. But as soon as there was a surge or something, I just would get dropped again. I just couldn't keep up. Yeah, that was it. And I turned the camera off after this climb. I was actually out of storage anyway, but it is kind of a shame because I didn't capture what lay ahead with the weather here, which is, I think, a lot of the story of this day and the race is in that weather, because it made it so tough, man. It just rained and rained. I got so cold. I finished and I just couldn't stop shaking. Shit was cold. So yeah, the weather made it a really, really tough slog. And I think it's, you know, like I said, I was disappointed with the result, but it's also an achievement just to finish this thing on a day like that. I think my time was about 4 hours and 40 minutes. I got there with no crashes, mechanicals, had air in my tyres, so that's always a win, you know. Got to take the positives, I suppose. But yeah, it was it was a hard day out there, but we got it done, and yeah, that's about it.